The thing that gave me the most pleasure in my life and achievement is when I made my mum and dad's house, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, we have an amazing house. Made it the way I wanted them to live, because I live that way.
Right.
And a lot of kids forget, you'd rather have a Ferrari on the driveway and not have double glazing in your house where your parents are freezing. Think about it, man. Just think about it before you do these things, man. Karma is a big thing in this world.
Yeah.
And what you submit and what you give to people is what you receive back.
What's going on, everyone? I'm really excited because I got to spend the whole day with my man Bally Singh. You might have seen him online. They say he's the most interesting man in all of India, and I won't doubt it. He's super interesting, but he's a very compassionate soul, and he's gone through a lot of things in his life, and today I want to share with you his story, struggle, and success. So Bally, I appreciate your time. Thank you for doing this, man.
Thank you for interviewing me. I'm really excited, and I hope everybody finds me interesting. If they don't, they can just skip the video.
Oh man, no, hopefully not. But let's get into it. So, what exactly do you do?
We have a number of companies. One of our companies, which obviously a lot of people know about, is the Rich List Group, which does events around the world, from supercar tours, from Marbella to London, 100 supercars, where 50 Cent came along and other celebrities came along. And then we do the Formula One events, which are obviously quite popular. And we do Monaco, we do Singapore, we do Abu Dhabi, and we're just about to announce Vietnam as well.
Got it. So I see, I think we all see these amazing events that you put on, but I feel like we don't really get to know who you are as a person and your actual story. So walk me through this, what was it like growing up? How did you kind of get into these celebrities? How did you get into these luxury events? Because from online, it seems like you're living this dream where now that I know you, there's way more to this. So kind of walk us through some of your story and how you got into this.
So I think I got into this when I was really young, into events, into the party scene when I was 17, when a couple of friends of mine asked me to participate in an event. It was the A-level results. So a long time ago, guys, a long time ago. So anyway, they asked me to participate in this exam, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed doing the whole hospitality, being on the door, doing the checking, communicating to the managers. I enjoyed it, and I carried on pursuing it throughout my other businesses with my father, who obviously is my biggest mentor and always will be, and always has been. He taught me the basics of working and the principles of working and the morals behind work ethics. And he's the guy who directed me and made me work the way I work today, and the way I make my son work today, like a horse, like a dog, but he'll understand the value of it sooner or later. So I started my career with the nightlife, and it grew. One day, a famous DJ came to one of the clubs I used to run, and he said, he had a great time. His security guard, we started talking, and he was a really nice guy, and we got on, and he said, look, if I ever have a celebrity, would you be interested in hosting them and showing them a good time and letting them come to your place? I went, we're 2 hours away from London. Which celebrity in the right mind is going to leave London, the capital of England, and come to a small town called Leicester? He goes, you never know. 2 weeks later, there's an event called Party in the Park, run by Radio 1. He calls me on Friday night, 7 o'clock, and goes, Bally, I've got Cisco in town. You see, Cisco right now, obviously nobody knows Cisco from the Thumb song. Then, he was a legend. He was like...
That was played everywhere, every single dance,
he was the guy.
Yeah.
He was like The Weeknd turning up to your club, or Drake turning up to your club. He was the guy. He was black music. 112, him, so Drew Hill, that was, that era of music, and that's why everybody knew him. So anyway, he goes, Cisco is not allowed on his contract to party anywhere in London. So he wants to party tonight. Do you mind if we come to your night in Leicester? I was like, okay, let's do it. Of course we'll, entertain him. I sent the messages out, then it was text messaging, I was calling people. Yo, listen, I'm going to have Cisco coming. Seriously, guys, it's happening, really? They're like, yeah, all right, dude. Why is Cisco going to come to Leicester? People turned up. My party was going on anyway. Cisco came, and the world found out about it. I mean, I was a superstar in my city. Cisco came to Leicester, and then it was strange. Cisco came, we got on. He invited me to party in the park. I was backstage with Destiny's Child.
Wow.
And that's when Destiny's Child were up there as well. So
Yeah.
it was Cisco, Destiny's Child. It was amazing. It was a surreal moment. Then I got back on the train and went home to Leicester. It was great. And people started finding out about my night, and celebrities started turning up. Then all of a sudden we had Sean Paul. Then we had the Black Eyed Peas. This is when they were touring
Right.
with Christina Aguilera. They were on
Okay.
tour when Where Is the Love was out.
Yeah.
It was like huge, and they were like, yo, Bally, we're coming to Leicester.
Yeah. How do you keep your ego in check when you're dealing with all these like high profile clients and companies? Like, how do you as a person be like how do you keep your ego in check, man?
Don't have an ego. To me, it's work. I go to work and I come back. It's like somebody saying to somebody who works at Krispy Kreme donuts, hey, you get to eat donuts every day. You climatize in like, dude, it's something that I do every day.
Right.
And I got this saying from Pharrell, because I was sitting in the back of a car with Pharrell once, and I was like, oh, I want to take you to this party. It's going to be lots of girls there. He's like, dude, you're basically telling somebody who sees girls every day, it's the worst thing I want to do. I want to go home
Yeah.
and get on Skype to my wife and my kids. I'm not interested. This is work. And that kind of mentality took me back for a minute, and it kind of went into my work ethic. And it carried on that way. I used to go to work. I used to do what I needed to do. And this was something that was very good for me, because I don't drink, I don't smoke. I think the world knows that. And I go to do my job. I entertain people. And what happens with a lot of promoters, they get caught in the moment.
Right.
And they think they're the celebrity. And they forget to look after the celebrity because their ego gets in the way. I don't, man. It's a job for me. I need to look after the client. I need to look after the celebrity, make sure they have an epic time, and then I go home and watch Netflix with my wife.
Sweet.
That's just me.
I love that. And let's kind of go back a bit, because I know you talk about your work ethic, how you got that from your pops, but like actually go through the story, because I know you shared it with me, but I feel like it's important that people know what it actually looked like to work with your dad. How many ever years ago when you were a kid? Like,
I think from the age of 8, 9, I started working. My dad put me to work. And it was, my dad used to cut the cloth in the garage in the back of the house. And my mother used to sew all the jumpers. And this is the way it was. And we were the kids that were turning the jumpers in and out and putting them in hangers or folding them and putting them into packs. That was just my first taste of work. And my dad was like, this is what we need to do to pay the bills. And I was like, okay, cool. And in those days, it was like, if you work now, I'm going to buy you some Coke, a cola, a packet of crisps, and a sweet. And
that's all you needed.
That was jackpot. It was like ching ching. What, I'm going to get crisps, I'm going to get Coca-Cola.
Yeah.
I am in. So anyway, we used to get this bonus once a week. It was great. And, that gave me the taste of work. And my dad used to do the markets. We used to sell the clothing on the markets as well. And my dad we used to drive to the market. It wasn't going to bed and breakfast, going to a hotel. No, it was sleeping in the back of the van. And it showed me, the way, how much you really have to work. And it gave me a discipline, to see where I've come from. And my father always used to say to me, remember where you come from. Do not fly. Keep grounded. Because if you keep grounded, you're not going to fall. If you fly in the sky, you're going to come down one day. And that's always when we get caught up in the moment. I'm like, yo, take a minute and think about what you're doing. You need to make sure you're the one with the calm head and act like you're meant to be there. My father came from a very, very humble background.
what was his story? Yeah, what was your father's story?
My father was he grew up in a family. They had a couple of fields, lived in a hut, no bigger than this section here, very humble. My grandfather passed away, and my grandfather's brother was in the army. My father was in the army at 14. That's when the British enrolled kids, and they didn't care. And basically, the British, if you had fought for the British in India or part of the British Army, they used to give vouchers, like visas,
Right.
for people. And my father and my grandfather, I still call him my grandfather because he's the one who looked after us and brought the family up. My grandfather brought us over to, brought my parents over to England, my father over to England, and put him to work in a foundry. And he was 15. So my dad was working in a foundry at 15. And so he had this life from the very beginning. And this is the way he always brought me up. I remember once, and my mum, when we started making money, and God was great, touch wood, and money was coming in left, right, and centre. And my mum, we have a Guru Granth Sahib, and we had a Babaji's room. Yeah, like a lot of Sikhs do. I'm not religious myself, not as religious as I maybe want to be or should be, but I believe in God. And my mother basically bought this wallpaper for 100. This was like 25 years ago, guys.
Yeah.
So £100 a roll. And my dad went, listen to my mum. He goes, spend the money, no problem, but just don't tell me. I love you, and I don't mind you spending the money. But he goes, it still hurts me because I know where I came from, and I know what I would have had to do for £100
Right.
10 years ago. He goes, I'm not angry, but just don't tell me.
Yeah.
Because that's the way he was. And even to this day, my dad is the most humblest person I know to achieve what he's achieved and put me in the position I am in today, because I'm not made myself, my parents have made me. And a lot of people out there forget what their parents have done, especially Indian people.
Yeah.
In our community, sisters and brothers are fighting over property, and they forget to look after their parents. The first thing I did in my life when I was successful, I went to my house. I'm lucky enough to pay my parents' bills, and I'm proud because they're my parents. They spent their whole life looking after me, and I think it's embarrassing when you can't look after your own parents. That should be your first goal in life. And I'm looking at the camera because that should be your first goal. The people that brought you up, gave you what you have today, you don't look after them, you don't pay their bills, shame on you. And that's the truth. That's the way I feel. So the first thing I did, I went into my house, I did it up. My dad was like, good, when it came, he goes, good deal, pot. I'll from here, buy a car, put a Rolls Royce in the driveway. I went, no, Dad, that's not me. I want to put a Rolls Royce in my house. I want the carpets when you put your foot in, they sink into them. I want my mum to sleep in the same beds I sleep in. I want the towels of a 5-star hotel. Not the dissy ones, the patterns on. No, I want my mum to have what she deserves. If I'm living in 5-star accommodation, my parents should be sleeping in 5-star accommodation. And that's what I did. It was the thing that gave me the most pleasure in my life and achievement is when I made my mum and dad's house, which, don't get me wrong, we have an amazing house, made it the way I wanted them to live, because I live that way.
Right.
And a lot of kids forget, you'd rather have a Ferrari on the driveway and not have double glazing in your house where your parents are freezing. Think about it, man. Just think about it before you do these things, man. Karma is a big thing in this world.
Yeah.
And what you submit and what you give to people is what you receive back. So that's one of my goals. And
what I like about that is that you're talking about the feeling associated with what money gave you. The feeling that you gave to your parents is probably way more than buying an expensive car, traveling first class, or any of that stuff. It was just the feeling that you got.
Guys, I still travel economy, and I'm not ashamed of it. So, don't get me wrong, guys. I use my air miles, and I do travel a lot of business. I'm first. I'm not going to lie. But I still do travel economy, because why the hell not? If it's a 2-hour journey, I'm not no superstar. Why the hell am I going to spend money? I've been brought off my father's principles.
Yeah.
I'm not going to spend, and I've been brought off my wife's principles, because I'm not going to lie. My wife's the one who goes, Bally, it's 2 hours. Shut up, we're buying economy. You're not buying business. I'm like, okay. And that's the truth.
Yeah.
The people around me are the people who have made me. And if people don't realize what their family and the people that have done around what they've done for you, you really need to sit down and take a minute and really appreciate the people you have around you.
There was a point in your life where you were at the top per se in your space,
Okay.
but you weren't always at the top. It wasn't just like a clean transition to
Never.
Marbella. It was never like that, and I think that's the part that people need to hear and learn more about, because I think that's important.
Of course it is. So what happened was, I ended up buying the club I was promoting, and an American company
With no money.
with no money. I used the money from the club's revenue to pay the owner the money. But anyway, that was another story.
Yeah.
It was good, but it was clever, and it worked. And I ended up owning a nightclub in Leicester. And I opened a concert company. So we did Sean Paul's first ever tour in the UK. We did 50 Cent. We did Game when
he was
50 were
huge,
together. His first tour in the UK. I've done everyone. So we had a concert company, an events company. So we were doing the opening party with Sean Paul for the MTV Awards in Scotland. So this American company approached me and said, look, we'd like to market our product. It was a gaming device. Could you help us market this product? So we did. We gave them lots of exposure. They loved it. And they said, look, could you please come in and tell us more about your company and what you do? So we told them, this is our PR agency. This is what we do. We market, we brand, we've done this, we've done that. And they said, how about we acquire you? And I was a young Indian guy. I didn't know a lot. And acquire, this was something like a movie. What do you mean, you want to buy my company off me? And they were like, yes, we want to acquire you. And I was like, okay, cool, let's talk. So they basically gave me $1 million worth of stock for my company. And their stock price was 3 cents at that time when they bought me. So I had a lot of stock. So I became their global operations director. I was doing the events and so on for the company. And in that company, I want to tell you an incident where the star brought me where I am today and why I am here today and why I've achieved so much.
Yeah.
So we had an incident where a famous marketing company basically said to my directors, because of 9/11, Bally shouldn't go to E3 in America because of, he looks like a terrorist. My CEO at the time said, bullshit, Bally's going, he's the guy who runs the operation. He's one of the key founders of it. He's our global operations director, and he's great at what he does, and he needs to go. So I ended up going, and I kept a low key and a low profile. I understood, I'm not stupid.
Right.
Americans have. But when you're talking about LA, you don't see Indians. Never mind Sardars. Yep, this is 20 years ago, over 20 years ago. So I'm at the stand and minding my own business, keeping in the shadows as they told me to. I see a Sardar, full on turban, big bug, very, very long beard, and he sees me and I see him. We look at each other, we come, and you know how it is. Sasi Khalbaji, how are you? And he goes, do it. He was like, what are you doing here? I was like, well, I'm here with this company and we've got this gaming device and we're in the market and we need games. The console's really good, it works on a Microsoft platform, but we're looking for games. I didn't think the guy was anyone. I was being polite and I was just having, because maybe I can give you some games. He passed me his card. He was the managing director of Microsoft Japan, a guy called Bally Singh. A few weeks later we had a meeting, we talked, and he said, look, I like the concept, I like the idea, let me introduce it to Microsoft. We went to Microsoft Studios. Microsoft Studios started making games for the console. From a $3 stock at that time, it turned into a $28 stock overnight. I became a millionaire, literally overnight. At one point I was worth $28 million. This was a long time ago. I was doing backflips. I'd never seen this kind of money in my life. I was celebrating, I was very happy. But I didn't know how the stock market worked, and I didn't know how restricted stock worked either. So anyway, so the company blew up. It did really well. We had some problems in the company, and it ended up collapsing. I ended up losing everything. I was based in America at that time. They moved me to LA. I was living in a mansion next to Master P, Travis Barker.
Yeah.
You know, I was living the dream. I had a Rolls Royce, an Enzo. It was like, wow, you know, I've made it.
Yeah.
The company crashed because of certain decisions certain people made within the company. Had nothing to do with me, but I was on restricted stock. So before I could actually cash out my 28 million, the company collapsed. I was worth nothing. I packed my bags, had $3,000 in my pocket. I went back to Leicester. Completely destroyed me. And I had to think of something. I had to keep the lights on. I had a family to feed at that time. And I became a doorman. And I basically stood on the doors for 2 years.
How did that feel? Because I'm sure a lot of people saw you as this club owner,
Oh
millionaire.
yeah, people used to
talking.
come to me and shake my hand and smile. You know, like literally
Yeah.
shake my hand and go, "Hey, Bally, how you doing? You on the doors now?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm on the doors, bro. Don't worry." And you know, it was demoralizing, but I got to terms with reality, and I was like, "If this is for me, this is for me. This is what I'm going to do." I became a security guard. It wasn't, you know, I was opening doors for people, but the opportunity came because I still had the contact and the resource, and people still loved me and they still trusted me because I never burnt my bridges. So when I did pick up the phone to Pharrell, his agent, they were like, "Oh, Jan Lee's agent manager at the time, oh, Bally, how are you?" Because I'd already done events with them. I said, "Of course we'll come to Marbella for a check." So that's how I ended up in Marbella, and the hotel where I stayed at, I ended up becoming the marketing director. Owner got on with me, random meeting. Owner got on with me. He said, "Why don't you become my marketing director?" I became a marketing director of a hotel, quite a famous hotel here in Marbella. And then a club opportunity arose again. I ended up owning one of the most famous clubs here. And things just evolved. I ended up moving to Dubai. I ended up doing the same thing I do here in Dubai. And we just grew and we grew and grew, and we ended up with these opportunities. You know, I started up again with 5 tables in the Formula One in Abu Dhabi, in the nightclub, not even on the track, nothing, just in the nightclub. The GM liked me. You know, he grew fond of me. He was like, "I like the way you work. I like how professional you are." And he gave me an opportunity. And the following year, he goes, "I don't want to work with those guys last year. I want to work with you." And my relationship evolved from 5 tables to 16,000 people over a weekend on the prime location in the middle of the Formula One track, overviewing the Formula One track. And I do the same in Singapore. I do the same in Monaco. And the bell rang.
Oh, wow.
And the opportunities just grew and grew and grew. People trusted me. The Abu Dhabi government came to me. One of the chairman of Abu Dhabi Tourism came to me, and we started talking, and he gave me another opportunity.
You see, when we hear this story, and obviously because I know this story, I've been with you all day, but it could almost sound like to some people that don't know you or just hearing this, it might sound like, oh, he got lucky.
I did.
Yeah?
I didn't get lucky. There's luck, and there's this thing called God. God put me where I am today. I didn't put me where I am today. I told you earlier on today.
Yeah.
And when there's 100 more people that are a lot cleverer, bigger IQs than me, know more about the industry, know more about music, know more about business than me, it's not me that's put me where I am today. It's God. I've been in situations where I should have died. Literally, I've been on aircrafts where the wings, the wheels have failed to come out, and I've still survived. And I came off smiling, and I didn't panic. I was like, and I'll tell you this story. So we took off on this Virgin flight. We took off. 15 minutes into the flight, the captain comes on the tannoy and goes, "Guys, we've got a bit of a problem. 2 of our wheels have gone in, and one of the wheels hasn't. It's stuck. It won't close, it won't open, it's stuck, and we have to turn around. But we have to dump the fuel first, and we have to make an emergency landing." I'm sitting there, and a friend of mine was on the flight, who's air stewardess. He came to me, and I'm not going to mention no names, and he said in Punjabi, he was Punjabi, and he goes, "Bally, changa nahi lagda." I'm like, cheers, bro. What do you have to tell me for?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. I closed my eyes and I went, I can't really ask you for anything else, God, because you gave me so much. And I'd be greedy to ask you for my life if you want to take it. I've lived an epic life. Thank you so much for what you gave me. And this is the truth. But I said, I went, just make it quick. That's what I swear to God, that's what I said. Make it quick. Didn't panic. And a lot of people, after we got off the plane, and people saw me, and people were crying, people were panicking, they're like, how did you stay so calm? And I told them, I went, listen, I've lived an amazing life. God's gave me so much that people crave for a child, all their lives, and they try their entire lives just to get a child.
Yeah.
I've had 3. I'm blessed with 3 amazing children. Just that alone is priceless. I've had some of the most amazing experiences. I've ate in the best places. I've been to the best countries in the world. I can't ask for anything else. So if it was my time, it was my time.
Yeah.
So that's the way I see my life, and this is why I believe in God. Going back to what we were saying, God's put me where I am today, not me. I'm just a normal guy. And maybe he's put me here for a reason. Maybe I'm just gonna, I said to you earlier, maybe I'm just gonna open a door where somebody walks in and does something to change the world. It could be as small as that, just opening a door or letting somebody go first in a queue. You'd never know what's going to change history. I'm here for a reason. I don't know what. You couldn't have gave me so much just for me to enjoy this life.
Right.
Live in such an amazing place. Travel the world. Have this experience. There's got to be more to life. Like I said, I don't know why I'm here, but there's got to be a reason. Maybe I've already done it. Maybe I've opened that door for that, UN leader or somebody who's going to change the world. Maybe I've already done it. I don't know. But I thank God every day for where I am and what he's gave me.
So where did this, what I'm hearing is a lot of gratitude. So where did that, when did you start becoming so grateful for things in life? When did that, is that, because I know your parents come from a religious background, so is that kind of a bit of them infused in you, or when did you start?
I think it's always been there, but I think the person who changed my life and changed my family's life and changed my kids' lives is my wife, Anna. She came into my life 4 years ago, and I was as much as I did for my family, I did what I did, but I forgot what the fundamental things were in life. Family, my children, looking after the people that care for me. And she came into my life and she turned me around, and she made me believe in what a woman can do.
How did she do that?
She told me about my kids. My son might kill me for putting this out, but I think he'll understand the reason. So my son, because I was a single father, and single fathers do this a lot, throw money at it. Yep, anything there's a problem, throw money at it. Son's got a problem, throw money at it. You want to do something, never question him. Oh, where you going? Doesn't matter. Here's the money, have a good time, look good on the Instagram. And my wife was like, and I was like, what the hell are you doing? What are you doing to your child? And I was like, oh, this woman's coming to my life, and she's like, why do you? And women, normal women, if it's your second marriage, they don't care about your children. That's the truth. Some women do, don't get me wrong, but most women would be like, not my kid. She's like, they're my children now, you're married to me. You're not going to do that. You're not going to spoil your child. What happened was, a friend of mine lent me his yacht for the day. And me, my son, and Anna were on this yacht with jet skis. And my son was doing the old DJ Khaled. And he had a case on his phone. And he had a strap on it. And the case, as he was doing his DJ Khaled on the jet ski, the case came open and the phone fell straight out. And he was like... And he went back to the yacht and he was like, yo, I lost my phone. Take me to the Apple store and I need to buy a phone. My wife was like, no, you call your dad and you tell your dad what you've done. And he goes, no, why? I can just take money out of the box and I can... My wife was like, no, that's not happening with me. Until she told me, and then she called me, she goes, if you buy him a phone, he's not going to understand the basic principles of life. You have to earn it before you spend it. And I was like, oh.
Which is what your dad was teaching you.
I stopped teaching my child. And she was right. And it killed me to say, son, you can't. I went, she goes, there's an old iPhone there. You can use that. Yep. And he had to use that old iPhone till I managed to basically sneak behind Anna's back and get him another one. And I did this.
Yeah.
And he started working for me here in Marbella. And again, Anna was like, this kid does not appreciate life. She goes, right, if you're not going to make this decision, I'm going to make it. She went to Indy. She made me do it. She goes, Indy, you're sacked. You're flying back to Spain, flying back to England. You're no longer working in Marbella because you're not working. You're just messing around, and this is not what we want for you. This is no way to learn. She made him get a job at 700 euros a month for a whole year. Wow. He hated Anna, but he loves her now.
Of course, yeah.
Because when I went to him and said, do you want to buy a Gavinci tracksuit now? He's like, what are you talking about? Why would I buy a Gavinci tracksuit? It cost me $3,000. Why would I do that? Are you crazy? I'm like, if it was Dad's money, you would have gone to the box and picked the money up or used the credit card, wouldn't you, son? He goes, yeah, Dad, I value. And then when he had to earn his money, and that's what Anna did. My parents had never been to Spain in the 7 years I've lived here. The first year she was with me, she made them come 4 times.
Wow.
You know, and it was amazing. And my father was a very religious man, and I'd never think he'd accept anybody like Anna. This is the truth.
Right.
I used to, Anna, typical Indian guy, not gonna lie, used to hide my girlfriend. And my dad, I told my mum about Anna. And one day I was on the phone, I think I was on loudspeaker to Anna on the phone, and he walked into my bedroom. And he said to me in Punjabi, he goes, there's something in her voice. He goes, "Idi awaaz vis kos hai gaya. Inu kannu leke aa." I was just like, what? Yeah, my father was a very militant person. Like, you're getting married, you're going to have Amrit, you're going to do this, you're going to do this, and you're going to do this. For him to say that just like took my breath away. She came and she won them over because they saw she was a good soul and she was a real person. And I think that's the day I think it changed my life, that my parents accepted her because of who she was and not the religion she was or the culture or the class or anything like that. There was nothing. It was just her. They love Anna. My dad loves Anna. My mum loves Anna. And I've never seen my parents, and my mum and dad call me, I used to call my parents like once every 2 weeks. I call my mum FaceTimes me every. I
saw it today. We caught it today. I love that.
She FaceTimes Anna.
Yeah. She asked first thing, "Where's Anna?"
And Anna's like, "Kinda baby," you know, and she's like, and she'll go to my mum, "Kibanda," you know, typical classic. And the mum's like, you know, Roti Khali. She can speak Punjabi. She's learned more Punjabi than I've learned Spanish. I'm ashamed. I'm sorry, but it's true.
Yeah.
She's such an amazing person, and what she's done for me in life and business is unbelievable. She's made me the person and the figure I am today. I put and she's not just the woman in the background, she's the woman next to me. She's my business partner. She's my mentor. You know, not many men would admit to that. I'm being honest with you, because men are very, very, I think, not proud, I want to call it, you know, they want to hide it. I don't. I'm so proud of what my wife has made me today. How the hell can I hide somebody who's made me the man I am today?
Totally. And I love the first time, one of the first things you said when we met was, "My partner is my partner." And I was like, 100%. Okay, this guy really respects his wife to that level and more. You know what I mean? And I was just
she's my hard drive. She's done campaigns for Gucci, Dolce & Gabbana, Four Seasons Hotels, Kempinski. She's done lots. She's a model. But you never ever think my wife's a model, as in like her character. She never tells anybody. She's got a degree. She's got a master's degree in HR. She's got a degree in psychology. She came first in a university. But would you think? And I was like, when I met this woman, educated, grounded, cultured, I was like, where do I sign? And why? Again, you see, it's not luck. It's not good looks, guys. It's God. She's an angel to me. I mean, I'm sorry, yeah, and I get teary-eyed when I talk about my wife because she's made me who I am. And common sense. She's so creative. She's my driving force.
Yeah.
You know, and the people say, "Oh, once you get successful, you don't want to know your wife." You know, what makes you successful? Get a woman, not a girl. Get a woman, and she will make you successful. And that's the truth. That's what made me successful. My wife directed me and guided me. Bill Gates has said it. Yep, there's a little.
I gotta watch that. Yeah.
Bill Gates has said it. A strong woman can make you or break you. This woman made me. She directed my business in a completely different, from nightlife to the corporate world. And if you can find that in a woman, you grab it with both hands and don't let go.
Yeah.
And when women, you know, people say to me, "Oh, there's all these girls around you. You've got this." Not. I'm like, listen to me. My life is my family. I would never ever jeopardize what I have with my best friend. And that's what she is. She's my best friend. I would never jeopardize that just for a moment. I would never look at another woman in that way because I would be letting down my best friend. People, if she's just your wife, then you're not married. She has to be your best friend, because when she's your best friend, you cannot let her down. Because would you let your best friend down?
Never.
Would you cheat on your best friend?
No way.
Would I cheat on my wife?
So why do you think it happens so often? Because you're in this industry, you were more so before, and you must have seen it all the time.
It happens because people accept. They don't wait. They accept. They accept what's okay. You know, like, okay, typical Asian scenario, she's Jat, her parents are Jat, her parents drink, my parents drink, great, we'll get married. You know, okay, you know, in any relationship, not Indian, oh, he's okay, my parents like him, he's cool, he's got a good job, I'll accept it. That's not going to keep you together for life. You actually have to want to be with each other and feel like something's being teared out of you when you're not with each other for you to really survive. And our biggest, the thing we look forward to every day is going home, having our dinner and getting into bed and just being with each other and watching Netflix. That's my end goal every night, just being with my wife and enjoying our life. You know, and a couple of months ago, again, I know you think I'm crazy or madly in love, which I am, but she's just phenomenal. She just moves me in such a positive way. I can't even tell you emotions. It's just everything she does. She doesn't leave anybody out. She doesn't leave my parents out. She doesn't leave my kids out. So when somebody is that way, all you can do is love them. You understand? And all you can do is idolize them. A few months ago, we got invited by a friend. It was a gesture. He said, "Oh, I met him on an aeroplane, and he had a bad experience." A guy called Sam Singh and Nina, his wife, amazing couple. I met him on an aeroplane from Dubai, and I'm just the talkative person. Anna's the shy person. I'm Punjabi. Mera muni band rehta, as they say. I can't keep my mouth shut. I always like talking to people. Anyway, I said, "Oh, are you going back to England?" He goes, "No, I'm actually connecting to Marbella." I said, "We live in Marbella." And he started talking to me, and he was like, "Oh," and I went, "Where are you staying in Marbella?" He told me the place. I went, "That's behind my house." And it was just one of them connections, and we started talking about business, and he's got this amazing app, Triplet it's called, and he was telling me about it. We started talking about Abu Dhabi, we started talking about general things, and anyway, we started talking, and the next day he messaged me, he goes, "Bally, the hotel we're staying is diabolical. You were right about it." I went, "It's okay, don't worry." And he goes, "Do you mind if I come meet you? You know, we're around the port, we have a coffee." I met his family, amazing kids, amazing wife. We got on with them. I went, "Look, I know you're having a bad experience with your hotel. I've got an 8-bedroom penthouse. It's empty this weekend. Please accept it. His wife would not take it. Nina was like, no way.
Yeah, not
We
happening.
can't accept it. I'm like, just accept it, please. And she did in the end. And then they were like, you need to come and stay in our house. We have a beautiful house in the country. I'd love you to stay in it. I was like, okay, cool. And I didn't think anything of it.
Right.
They sent the website of the house. This house was not a house. It was a house. It was a country house. It was a manor house. It was, I think it's 19 bedrooms.
Wow.
Yep. And the first thing Anna said when they invited us, we're taking mum and dad. The first thing, she's like, mum and dad and the kids, we're going to spend the weekend there. She didn't, you understand? Normal
Yeah.
people like, no, me and my husband, no. Family.
Yeah.
And she made, and we went
Oh,
to
sweet.
this house and we spent the whole weekend in this house. And I never saw my dad in his whole life smile so much.
Wow.
You understand? And the experience and the joy and happiness. My uncles came and the energy was so good. And she put something energy into her family, which was, I'm going to show you the pictures after the interview.
Yeah, we'll put them up. We'll loop them in through this.
You know,
Yeah.
I kind of hide my family,
Uh-huh.
but it was an experience. And I hand on heart, and I'm not told of this, but I think it was the best time of my life. Spending that much time with my father, because, you know, you don't know how long you have your parents.
Yeah,
That's the truth.
That's true.
And sorry, I've got a bit emotional
No,
there.
there's nothing wrong with
Not
that.
not me, guys. Really, trust me. But
No, this is the true him. And I spoke to Anna about this too, and Anna's
Yeah.
like, when I met him, I knew there was more to him than what I saw online or at the clubs. And he's like, that's what I was seeing through. And she also told me that if you're gonna be that person, that's not who she wants to mess with. So I think we're actually seeing the true you,
Yeah.
which I think more of the world needs to see of, because I think that's what I got to see today,
Yeah.
and that's why I have that connection.
I like
with you
hiding
too,
myself, man. I like staying in the shadows. But that's what she did for me, and that's why if you find somebody, and I hope everybody finds somebody like that in their life, and when you find somebody like that,
Yeah.
life's different, man. It's different. You don't care about money.
Yeah.
You care about going home to your wife. You know, when you've got that in your life, then you're made. And people accept this, you know, just surviving, having a kid with somebody. It's not the way you should be. Find your soulmate and you will find yourself. And that's what I did. I found my soulmate and I found myself. And like I said, this woman she is my life and she's my business partner. And when I mean she's my business partner, she's the person who drives and directs me and I listen to the most. And she's got Rich List and Hocko Agency, my main company, to where it is today. Alongside some great people, Max, my CEO. I'm the founder, but I have a CEO, Max. Jack, who's my best friend, I could say. I've known him for 25 years. And when I had money, he was with me. When I was a doorman, he was still with me. And you know, these people that I have around me, they're loyal. And I keep them around me because that's what I love. And they've made this brand. My cousin Gurdeep, who's always been there for me. And we've had some crazy adventures when we were kids. And these people have you know, are the pillars of my business. And have, you know, directed me and got me where I am
And
today.
your life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%. When I fucked up, I'm sorry swearing, when I messed up, they were like, hey, you're messing up. Oh, you want to fall out with me? Because I'm telling you, fall out with me. I don't care. Don't talk to me for a month. But I'm still going to say, you're an idiot, don't do it. And these are the people that have always come back and said, oh, you calm down now, Bally. Oh, you've had your tantrum? You understand why I'm coming? Yes, Jack. Yes, Gertie. Yes, Anna.
Yeah.
Because they're really there for me. They
Yeah.
don't care. They're going to
Right.
always tell me the truth.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm here where I am today.
I love that. All right, so this is my last question. I try to end off all my interviews with this one question. So the reason I started this project, I actually haven't shared this with you, is that I felt like I didn't spend enough time with my family. So I did a day in the life with my nephew, who was 3 years old at the time. So I spent my whole day with him and just captured what reality looks like for him. And a 3-year-old is so much more different than what you see when the
course.
pictures go online, right?
Yeah.
And then what I saw how much like love and happiness and connection that he brought to my whole family, like my parents, my brother, his wife, my puppy, and all that. And I'm just like, that's so beautiful. So I'm like, I don't know, I just felt like I felt actually re-energized and recharged, because I got to connect so deeply with someone, and saw like a big community. So then that's how I started this whole Day in the Life series, because I'm like, if I can go and share someone else's story, there's always something that I can learn from it, but more importantly, other people can learn from it as well. And we always build a connection. Like even now, me and you have a connection now.
Definitely,
if I'm ever here or you're ever there, we're always like, yo, let's meet up, let's talk, let's connect, right?
Yeah,
so
sure.
The whole vision for this, and the whole, I guess the question I always ask people is, and this question is for you, is that what is the one thing that you feel that humans can do to help evolve human connection?
The one thing, be nice to each other. Be happy for each other. That's the one thing I see in the world today. Happiness is not really there. Everybody's a millionaire on social media. Everybody's a millionaire on Instagram. Everybody's happy on Instagram. It's a fake reality.
Yeah.
Don't spend your life on Instagram pretending you're something that you're not. Become connected to the people that you need to care about. And be happy for someone. I hide my social media. I hide what I do now because I'm not scared it causes jealousy and causes bad karma. You know, somebody might say, hey, well done, blah, blah. They don't mean it anymore. And that's my one message to people out there. Be nice. It doesn't cost you anything. Be happy for someone. And if you can be that person, that energy and that karma will come back to you.
Got it, love it, man.
Yeah, that's just me. That's the way that's my, I try and I go wrong. We all go wrong. I have my good days, I have my bad days. Have I been jealous? Yes, I have. Have I been angry? Yes, I have. Have I been frustrated? Of course, I'm human. But try to better yourself and always keep your feet on the floor, man. And never think you know everything. That's the biggest. Even after what I just said, the biggest thing is never stop learning, because nobody knows everything. You taught me something today. I might have taught you something today. The pizza parlor guy who serves you a pizza might teach you something today. Don't think you're cleverer than anyone, because everybody can teach you something. A baby can teach you something. Your grandfather can teach you something. Don't think you know it all. Because you're successful, that doesn't mean you've got the knowledge book that you need. Right. Never stop learning, guys.
I love that, man.
That's what I believe.
I appreciate you,
Thank
man.
you. Thank you for coming.
So much,
really.
Man. Thank you for time, man.
Contacting me. It was really, really emotional today.
Yeah, I love it, man.
Yeah,
I felt like we actually got to share a lot of things, man.
Yeah.
That I learned a lot from.
Yeah,
I think
it brought back a lot of memories, you know.
Yeah.
It really, really helped me connect. And you know, when you do these interviews, you realize how lucky you are. And like I've spoke about my wife, like I've spoke about my father, like I spoke about my mother.
Yeah.
It's a connection that you all of a sudden you come back and you think, right, I've got to call mum.
Yeah.
I hope somebody picks after this interview
that would
goes,
be awesome,
yo, I got to call mum. I'm not going to call her. I'm going to FaceTime mum. I'm going to FaceTime dad, because you don't know how long you have them for.
Yeah.
Really, guys. And it's one thing I've learned with my father and my mother. Appreciate them, because when they're gone, they're gone. Appreciate the people around you. Thank you for interviewing me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for everything, man.